We are currently standing in Real Attractions, Cinema and Video, the only theater in Humboldt, and has been a theater in Humboldt since 1948. Well, it was actually probably more of a personal investment too, being that I grew up here, and when I moved back with my family, I was a little disappointed to see the theater get that run down after spending many hours as a child here. So I mean, it's part of our history and it's a source of entertainment that should never die, and it was on the verge of it here.
My full-time job is I'm a veterinarian, but my passion is the movie theater. It's that story, I've done it since I was a child. I enjoyed movie theaters. The opportunity was there. I saw a growing community, excellent partners.
Right now, in the next few weeks, we're going to be converting over to digital projection and surround sound. This is a huge investment and an incredible turnover and a great investment for Humboldt. Well, one of the big benefits to the conversion is time. It'll be a lot faster to get a movie on. Right now, we're currently probably look at 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on the length of the film, to take off the old movie and put on a new film.
Movies are transported on movie reels. Even till today, they come on a movie can, and inside the can are the reels. There's been different formats tried, but this format tends to be the one that's used, and what made it successful is its size. It's easy for a person to handle. It's easy to load on a bus or an airplane cargo reel. It's those steel cans last a long time. So what we do when a can arrives, they weigh anywhere from 45 to maybe 70 pounds for a movie, and it's expensive to move them. Surface transportation. That's 35mm print film. But anyways, the print film is then spliced onto one large continuous loop. This machine, I only know its nickname. It's called a mutt. And I think it stands for Movie Utility Transport. It's a portable machine. It's on wheels. It's very simple. You have to load the film on sequentially. Then you play it through, and then you have to rewind it. It's a nice machine because it is simple, but also because it's mobile. We can take it from one projector to the other. If we sell out a kids movie in the smaller theater number 1, we can move it over to theater number 2 and play it there. So the film is just threaded, as you can imagine, in a reverse sequence. It's just threaded onto the machine. They stopped making replacement parts for this machine in 1973, maybe 1975. As you can see, this machine is truly held together with baling wire and tape. We've replaced as many parts as we can. We have used vacuum cleaner parts. We've used relays that we've gotten from the Radio Shack. We've used motors that have come out of household appliances. But it continues to operate. It's quite a reliable piece of equipment. It's noisy, but we do take care of it. It's a very simple design, and like I say, they stopped making them in 1973. The major disadvantage of this machine is you can only show one movie at a time, and it has to be rewound between each movie. We also have large reels for this projector, for this mutt. And these large reels allow us to put a movie up to 3 hours in duration.
There's a lot of people say that the movie industry is a dying industry and it's going to be a thing of the past. And you know what? It's true to some extent, you know, with the downloads and the Netflix and all that. But the theater will be very hard to lose because people, again, and I hear it more and more as we clean up the theater, that people want a night out. They want to go out because people with all this fancy electronics and downloads, people just tend to stay home and couch potatoes. They don't go out no more. So people are appreciating the fact that they're able to come out more.
The movie still comes as it has you know, for, well, in this theater since 1946, comes as a 35mm print. They've loaded the film with just about every piece of information they can. They still have the blue line, which is your left and right channel. They have timing marks on them, on the tops and on the bottom for 7.1 Dolby sound. And so there's a second. A trailer like this is about 3 minutes. A large movie reel is around 20 minutes. And they're difficult to use. They do snap on occasion. They do scratch. They're subject to any kind of handling or abuse. They collect dust. They're staticky. They're heavy. And as you can see over here, they're labor intensive. So what I'm doing is putting a movie on. This device is called a platter. Straight name is a platter. This is a 3-deck platter. I can load 3 separate movies on, and it allows me to play a double feature here. It's similar to, if anybody can remember, an 8-track. They play out of the center, and they load onto the outside. So I'll play from this platter to an empty platter. Well, very quickly as we are moving into digital projection.
With this conversion, we will be getting movies on possibly release, but of course they'll be coming faster. It'll be a more high-tech, advanced way of showing films, which has been around for a few years already, but we are just going to be doing the plunge because as Humboldt grows, there's more demand for it, and with this change we'll be able to keep more people in Humboldt rather than driving to the city to see movies on release or quicker than we've been able to get them on 35mm film. In the new year there will be probably close to depletion of the making of 35mm film, which is, you know, we need to change basically. And you know, with the upgrades we have done to the theater and our clientele in Humboldt can see that we mean business here and we're doing this for the community so that we continue to grow and strive to give people a source of entertainment here. The benefit of having digital projection is we'll be able to offer so much more and be able to be so more diverse in the different events that we promote and offer to the public. It could be anything from more show times. We'll have more flexibility with that because it's easier to change to movies. Right now with a 35mm on one of our projectors, you have to actually rewind the film. So, you know, that's close to an hour just to rewind, whereas you couldn't have back films. With digital we can. We'll also be able to offer business presentations. You can fire up your laptop to it, connect to your laptop on the digital, your iPod, or whatever, any electronic device. You know, the gaming will be big because you'll be able to hook up your PS3, your Xbox, and hook it up there and do big gaming parties on there.
So I have this set up right now and show you how to run the movie. This is the standard platter table. What I've done is turned it around so that it allows me to take a movie off and load a movie on simultaneously. So I use the table motor to pull the movie off, and I use the platter motor to pull the movie on. So what we are gaining is the film will now be, rather than shipped on the cans that we saw earlier, they'll be shipped on a hard drive, and the hard drive will come in a small box like a camera case, reducing the transportation costs. It can be shipped by air or first class post or you know, a much quicker shipping system. The movie companies are reducing their costs because they don't have to distribute and then recycle the film.
there are more hard drives available at any time, so there'll be more prints available. We'll have more access to more films. We'll be able to play a Fox movie in the morning and then a couple of Warner Brothers and the Disney all at once, rather than being restricted to the movies that can play because of contractual agreements.
The projector that we use in this theater is, it remains an industry workhorse. It's called the Century 2 Model C. And it's a great little projector. Runs 35mm film only. When it was designed, it was very well designed. And what has made it last so long is all of the space that the original designer designed into the equipment. This first compartment contains what's called a red light. It's, again, an industry standard laser. The laser shot through a lens. The lens goes through an airspace where it reads through the green line on the movie. The green line on the movie contains your soundtrack, left and right channels. It converts the print to an analog signal, and then it goes into it's a transformer type device which converts that green signal, translates it into a language that our amplifier can understand. The amplifiers that we use are old. They're 1950s vintage, University Studio by Altec Sound. They were very high quality in their day, and they still have a very warm tone. This is how it looks when you've loaded all your movies on, all your reels on, I should say. It'll just get larger and larger. When we took over the theater, what we were told was industry standard was just to have small puck-like objects on this table, and they would hold this movie in place. Once the center is a removable steel core, and it creates a lot of rigidity on the movie. But when you take this core out, this film is just sitting here on a platter, spinning. And it's not a static mass, it's a dynamic mass. It does move. And on the night that, I think second or third show of Iron Man, something happened, we don't know what, but the motor switched on and didn't shut off, and it took the reel while it was playing a film and it fell on the floor. Well, fortunately, there's a fail-safe switch. It cut the movie and that shut everything off, so there wasn't a lot of damage, but we had a movie, 2 or 3 reels of film sitting on the floor. So my partner and I were able to just manually reload the movie back onto the platter. So to thread the movie, first you have to thread the platter. So I removed the flexible core that was there just to wind the movie around. And I have on the movie what is just called the header and the timing strip. So the movie's been wound with the soundtrack up, and that's very important, very, very important. The reason being, you do not want any scratching to take place on the movie, and the way that this machine was built, if there is any scratching to take place, it's going to take place on the top. So a crackle in the film is a lot more acceptable than a scratch. So we always wind the movie with the soundtrack up. You thread it through the trigger, around the reverse pulley, and then I'll have to manually operate the film to get enough to get enough slack. All I'm doing is taking that leader or header off, and I'm going to pull it through until I've identified the timing strip, and I'm going to pull it through until the timing strip is approximately where it will be in the projector. Then I thread the film around the pulleys, and I'll bring this film over over to the projector. So this up here where my hand is where in the old days the top reel would have been. And the film comes down through a cutting device. So this cutting device is a fail-safe. If anything puts tension on the film, this roller comes down, it cuts the movie. And when the movie is cut, there's a safety switch on the bottom, which will fall and shut the projector off. And there's a safety switch on the platter, which will fall and cut the platter off so that it doesn't continue to fall. And that's why when Iron Man came off the platter, other than movie on the floor, we had no damage to the film or projectors. So the people that designed this equipment, they had a lot on the ball. When they set it up, it was very simple, very, very simple to design. A very simple design. The movie goes through the first roller. And the ideal distance for the first roller is the amount of film between the roller and the drive. So all I have to do is make sure that the timing strip is aligned with that little aperture window and lock the tractor drive of the intermittent mechanism. And then I close the glider. The glider holds the film against the aperture, and the aperture is which the light comes through. And I know now that my loop size is perfect. There's a tractor device underneath the sound projector, or the sound pickup. And as long as my film is tight, there's a sound, this is a sound dampening device, and it just puts a little bit of tension in. So all I want to do is wrap it around the roller and then take up one cog. And that's all I have to do. If this is loose, it'll vibrate here. And when the light is going through, the vibration will translate into a hum. This device by Christie is a major name in projector manufacturing. It's a safety switch. If the film were to break or it were to be cut, after it plays through, these would fall and shut the projector off. There's two, because a film can split. One side could continue to run and the other side would be split. So just one arm would fall and it would shut the projector off. And then it's just a matter of keeping tension on those switches. Through the bottom roller, where the bottom reel would have been. So we'll pull all of the header through. Now this header can be on the floor because it's not part of the movie, right? It's just a leader. It just gets the movie to the platter. So we keep it clean, but we're not paranoid about it falling on the floor. It wraps around a device called, it's a clutch. And this clutch controls a rheostat. And the rheostat controls the amount of electricity to the motor. So that's by the position of the clutch. The speed is determined for the take-up motor. If it's running a little slow, this loop will get short and that will increase the speed of the motor. If it's running a little long, this loop drops, it slows down and the slack will be taken up. Again, a very simple design, a very effective and easy to maintain design. The film again, just through the roller, through the wheel, onto the platter. Film goes into the center reel. Find the hole. Center reel is locked onto the platter. And then we just spin it. And it's ready to go. Now, before I would play, I would just come back here, adjust the film around the trigger. And this movie would be ready to play. The first thing that's going to happen is this film is going to get, this motor, because of the position here, this motor is going to take off. This arm will drop. This will keep moving at a constant speed until the mass and the motor speed work themselves out. This trigger will be just switching on and off. Turn all the switches on. So you can see how the trigger mechanism works to turn the motor on. The platter speeds up and shuts off. The mass of the movie continues. The motor puts energy into the system and then shuts off. Again, this is the part that we made with car parts and plastic.
My favorite part of this theater is the community, and my favorite part of this theater is seeing the people coming and going and seeing how happy the people are.
You know, it's a great business to have. We can be so diverse here because we don't only have the theaters, we got the movie rentals, and we can have so much fun with, like, when Oscars come out, you know, we can do red carpet events, we can have fun with the movies, tons of birthday parties for people, and you can theme it up. We have the inflatable bouncers that we can be movie themes as well. Probably the biggest reward for me working here right now is watching the people appreciate the work and effort that the four of us business partners have put into it. Because, like I said, it was a thing of the past. It was a dying out entertainment sector in Humboldt, and it's coming to new lights and new horizons, and it's just so rewarding to see the appreciation that people show that we're fixing it up.